We live? Are we though? Let me tweet it. Let me just edit the stream, tweet out, do all that jazz, guys. Sorry about. Hope you are all well. Absolute madness. This market is crazy right now. Still sitting in Elite 3. We are very good. Very good. Only just in though. It's alright. Got 4 games. Oh, there we go. Sweet. Everything should be good now, guys. The camera's rolling. Let me check my audio quickly. Sounds sweet. Let me tweet out now. There we go. So guys, a lot of things to touch on today. A lot. Obviously the market is still low, but it's some things are recovering. So this Christian Eriksen is one thing I've been looking at, and he's now touching, he's 260k and comfortably 260k as well. Now of course out of packs, Christian Eriksen, and I think we may see a slightly different trend this year because he is still dipping. He was up around 270, 280 all last week, and now he's actually still dipping all the way down to 260. And I think that's because investors are trying to get out. But if we look at Kevin De Bruyne, of course, this is now a second week out of packs. De Bruyne, I've actually seen him make a heavy recovery. It was down near 220 for a lot of the week, and is now up around 250. Earlier in the day was up near 580. Earlier in the day was now around 550. Last week he was up around 520. So there's an interesting little thing with the market right now where cards are going up, down the week after out of packs because I think a lot more people are investing. So the buy day I actually think maybe pushing a week later, due to people trying to get out of their investments because they freak out that they're not rising. So let me look at other team of the weeks. This is just a theory I've just come up with right there and then. So from team of the week 3, you also had a Harry Kane. Now obviously needed for the SBC was 250 early on in the week. Went all the way down to 180 last week, and is now recovered to 200. So Harry Kane, obviously his recovery isn't as great because he's been, he's had his Player of the Month card released. Isco, how is he doing, Isco? Let me get his, I can't memorize all these cards, guys. But Isco, when he came out of packs, he was around 200. He dipped all the way down to 170 or so. Where is he now? Is he recovering? Yeah, he's recovered all the way back up to 200, guys. Wow. So yeah, to me this is an interesting trend. Because Isco and De Bruyne were my 2 favourite investments from that team of the week. I also liked Yarmolenko and Ginter. Patricio as well. It's very nice, but the fact that these guys dipped and then rose a week out of packs is an interesting trend. And now if we look at team of the week 4, this is interesting. So obviously there were some very good investments in team of the week 4. I think the best one in terms of players, not so much as investments, but in terms of players, was this Goretzka. Now Goretzka was an interesting one. Looked to be that he was settling at around 180, And Squad Battle Rewards dipped to 168. So it was those 168 when, you know, the normal buy time is. And I think, is he still dipping? So it was 168 during Squad Battle Rewards, and he is still dipping, guys. This leads me to think that buy time is actually the next week. And this may just be an anomaly due to all the panic selling that's going on. But there are so many more investors this year on foot. So many more. And this kind of fluctuation isn't actually surprising because more people are wanting to see that price rise. And they're not seeing him rise. They're actually like, oh no, he's not rising. Quick, I better get out of him. Out of this investment. And then we're seeing them dip. And then start rising up 2 weeks out of packs. So that's just an interesting little trend I have noticed. That, you know, these cards are going down. Who else should we look at that was in informs last week? Obviously, there's the big boy, Lewandowski. Let me get his price record up on Footbin. So Lewandowski, what is he at now? Lewandowski. During rewards, he was at 620, 623. That's his buy time, 623. Then you usually see them go up. He is below 600 now. 623 at what people would typically call his buy time, and he is still dropping. And he is dropping a lot. It's just coincidental because the team of the year. I think not. I honestly think this could be a pattern that we could see emerge because there are so many more traders. Arnautovic is down as well. Let's look at this Arnautovic. So a lot of people picked up this Arnautovic because player of the month hype. So you have to take that into consideration. Now he was at 40k, then he dipped hard to 34k. Buy time, he was still sitting at 34k, very comfortably at 34k as well. You know, that looked like he was going to stagnate there in price. He has dipped. I don't know if that's just a snipe. It may be. I mean, quick flip. There you go. Live flip on video. It's cool. But these guys are dipping actually a bit later as well. So he's dipped even further and out of it. I'll just quickly flip this guy. 32k. I mean, it's only a few K profit, but whatever. Will that one even sell for 32k? Nah. There's a bunch for 31. He may go on bid though. If not, I'll keep him because these cards are going to start rising again. And I think I'm going to release a full video maybe or more detail about this because this is a really, really interesting pattern we're starting to see unfold. I know it's only been a few weeks, but the thing is, Team of the Week 3 and 2 followed a similar, you know, route. So I'll get this up, Team of the Week 2. So let's look at whether the big investments there that weren't huge. Pjanic or Aubameyang. Then a lot of people liked El Shaarawy. I didn't. Well, I liked El Shaarawy, but I didn't think it was a huge investment. I got him because I wanted to play with him. But we'll look at the main ones. So Pjanic, inform Pjanic. Came out on the Wednesday. Saturday dipped as low as 87. Rose at buy time to actually 105, which is crazy. Because this is when, you know, more coins came into the market because of the first weekend league, I think that was. He rose, That normal buy time, he was sitting at, the day before for informs, he was sitting at 95, normal buy time. Rose to 112, then went out of packs and actually dipped to 103, and then actually rose all the way to 128 in 2 weeks' time to sell. So he didn't dip as low, because obviously more coins in the market, but he saw a similar rise. He actually dipped when you'd expect him to start rising. Aubameyang, same thing happened. He went out of packs, he dipped in price, and then started rising. So let's now look at, Team of the Week 3. We've already been well documented that they actually dipped heavily last week, and now have actually started to rise back up. So guys, take this as you will, but it's a pattern, and we've seen it over 2 weeks now. They just release it, 2 weeks time, they start to rise again, because investors, they hype it up, and then that's when we actually see a little dip in price. I'm going to try to monitor this a bit more carefully over the next coming weeks. I may even do a spreadsheet, so guys, if you want to see spreadsheets, follow me on Twitter, because I will tweet them out, but those kind of fluctuations cannot be ignored. And looking at this team of the week, Sterling, Gabriel Jesus are probably, and Fekir, those are probably the three I like the most. I also like Zaha and De Gea, but those three are probably my favourite 3 investments from this week. So let's start off by looking at the cheapest of the 3, Fekir. Bull Fekir, a very nice card. A very, very nice card. What's he sitting at, Fekir? Sitting at 100k? Bit less than 115, so around 110k, Fekir. So usually, a very good indication of where they will be, when they're back in the prime sell time, which is 2 weeks after they're out of packs, is where they are the day after. So there's one there for 107. Okay, 107. I'm not touching it, because I know that's not a snipe. So there. Guys, that's where you expect to see him in 2 weeks' time from right now. 109k. That's what you expect. Alright, let's look at Sterling. Obviously, I think these guys are going to be a bit different because, they're hyped up. The big name players, they're going to be, people will want to use them for weekend league. So that means they are overpriced right now, but I think they will dip heavily into it. But I think we could see Sterling rise back up to 170. So I think that's a fair indication of his price. However, it's hard to say because of Team of the Week, Team of the Year hype, and also Scream. But I honestly think if we could see him even lower during Friday next week, rather than Monday this coming week. So I guess 1 for 160 there. Now what about Jesus? Jesus, I think, is an outlier. See, these ultra big cards that everyone wants because they're just that amazing will often sit abnormally high and will stay there until when weekend league finishes. Because you think about it, all the big weekend league players will be trying to pick this guy up before weekend league. They'll just want to play with him, because let's be real, it's an amazing card, isn't it? There's no doubting how amazing this card is. It just is amazing. And 490, I think, is still overpriced. I think by Monday or Tuesday, Monday probably, we'll see him at around 300k. That's my honest prediction. I think we could see him as low as 300k. And this is because of normal market fluctuations. I think this guy is going to be an exception in terms of the market dip, though, that I was talking about before. Because we look at previous team of the week. Let's look at 3 again as our indication. That's a very good indication. The big boy in Team of the Week 3 was De Bruyne, but he was only 500k. Let's look at Team of the Week 4 then. When was the last big boy? Lewandowski, but because of the weird league he was cheap. Yeah, the last few weekend Team of the Weeks haven't actually been that great. 2, there was the Messi card. Okay, so here, Messi card. Lionel Messi centre forward card. Obviously, big card. Everyone wants this card because everyone knows he's a lot likely to get another, centre forward striker card for a long time. When he came out on the Thursday, he was at 1.8 million. Dipped to 1.4. Rose then, as expected, to 1.7. Then actually dipped again. When Squad Battle Rewards started coming out again. Then now it's steadily rose. Now it's actually sitting, I think, at 1.8. Which, by the way, just proves my, trusty way to indicate how much player is going for. He was going for about 1.8 million on the Thursday. He may be going for a bit more now, because it is Lionel Messi. Oh, how much more is he going for? Gee whiz. Oops. Oh, far out. Let me research this. Messi, obviously a lot of people may convert him to striker, but I don't want to get the other one stuck. Let's just set 1.9 here. See if we get any popping up. Hero cards. So he's actually risen a lot more than what my prediction said. But still, it's pretty darn accurate. It is pretty darn accurate. He'll keep on rising, this Messi card. Look, there's 3 there. It is just, this card is so rare. And as a cam, this card is going to be stupidly insane. If you ever get him. Let's just look how many there are of this card on the market. So of course this is half page. So 1. Look how many there are. This card is so rare. So rare, guys. Now let's look at other players that may be of interest. Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo. Player that I have looked at previously, and I think still has just as much room for crazy fluctuations. And I mean crazy fluctuations. So this Ronaldo has been steadily increasing, but is now seen to stagnate at around just under 1.8. Ronaldo, so he stagnated just under 1.8. So this is something that you need to keep in mind, that he has stagnated around 1.8 million. According to Foothead at least. I mean Footbin. What does Footbin say he's at right now? I'm searching special. I'm special. Let me try that again. Seems to be stagnating just under 1.8, which he is. In fact, there's only one. Most of him seem to be going through on bid, as you would expect for a player at that price. In fact, let's see if that goes through on bid. So 5 minutes away. We'll see that on bid. So yeah, 1.73. So he stagnated just under 1.8k. And that's not so much because of the fear in the market, but it's partly to do with fear in the market. But the reason he isn't dipping is because there's potential, if Team of the Year does come out, he'll be out of packs and his price will go up. But people are scared to invest, so it isn't driving it up like crazy before it, because people have realized, hang on a minute, if he doesn't come out, he's going to crash after Team of the Year doesn't come out, which I think is the more likely result of the two. So that's something else about this market right now that you have to understand. You have to understand why players are what they are and why they've been moving the way they have been moving. Stupid Bernadeschi's. Who do Juventus play on the weekend? Yeah, I try. For some reason, Bernadeschi just didn't rise pre-game. It was just so weird. He just didn't move. And I would have thought he would have started as well because he didn't play on the weekend. And typically he has risen a bit. But yeah, who do Juventus play? Let me quickly search this up. Juventus. Juventus will be playing Udinese on Monday the 23rd. Well, Monday the 23rd Australian time. 2 a.m. Contemplating selling now and taking the loss. Or holding on. I could see him dipping even further. So I think I will actually sell now and take a loss. Because I want all my coins ready. So here you go, guys. You can see me take an L. Bernadeschi. It's frustrating because I thought he was going to play. And he just didn't play. So yeah, rip me. I took an L. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't think he's going to recover at all. Unless he plays amazingly and gets an inform. Oh my gosh. How big is this L going to be? I'm a derp. 45k. Rip. I'll take it. Whatever. I took a gamble. Didn't work. Let's list these guys up. List them up for the L. I mean, I'm not losing huge coins. Losing about 25k. Which is still a decent amount, but not that crazy. Now, please sell. If they don't sell for that, I will be shocked. They are dirt cheap. Yeah, I don't think. Oh, I hope they sell. If you want cheap Bernadeschi, there you go, guys. Now, what else do we need to look at? That's right, Scream cards. When do I think Scream will drop? I think Scream will drop the very second. Well, maybe not the very second, but when these guys end. So these guys end in 5 days, right? And in 5 days' time, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is the 24th. Team of the Year hype will reach its pinnacle on the 23rd. So that indicates to me that Scream is going to drop on the 24th, and that's 1 week before the 31st. So Scream is going to be in packs for 1 week, from the 24th to the 31st. That's what I think is going to happen. Because this just aligns too perfectly. Or does it mean that they're alluding to Team of the Year is going to drop on the 24th? No, probably not. Because I don't think they are going to drop Team of the Year. But yeah, so these finish on the 24th, a week before the 31st. I think that's a good indication of when Scream cards will come out. Now, in terms of Scream card fluctuation, last year we saw pretty much what most investors thought was going to happen. They started off very low because people didn't really understand. Then they shot up in price about 2-3 days before they were meant to get their scary boost or whatever, right? And then what happened is when they got the scary boost, they actually dipped right back down. And they didn't dip down, they crashed down. Because everyone was trying to sell their investments at the same time. Saw a huge dip in their price, which is actually the best time to pick them up. Another thing, I think they're going to release some insane SBCs, during the Scream period. And I think that's why Scream cards going to be even more valuable. Because they're obviously going to be 90, 92, 93 rated cards that are going to be cheap. because everyone's selling at the same time. And because they're going to be cheap, you can pick them up. And think about like trying to do it, you know, you need an 88 rated SBC. Oh, what did this Ronaldo? See, this Ronaldo didn't sell. Like, come on. That is mad. But if you need a 188 rated SBC, it could be really easy to do that because there's a screen card out. You know, if it's dead cheap, and you can just use that screen card for its ballooned price. Which also says, guys, if you can get a screen card for discard, get it. Don't even hesitate. Get that card for discard, no matter what it is, because there will be a point in time where they'll be off discard because of SBCs. So if you can get it, get it. Simple as that. Sweet, one Bangladeshi down. So yeah, that's my take on the scream cards. It's impossible basically to react on who will get the scream cards because it is so random. Yeah, it is really random who gets screen cards. So I don't think we can predict who will get it. Oh, this Dybala. Been too late though. Mbappe. He rose heavily, Mbappe, once he scored that goal. Icons took a heavy dip, have been taking a big dip as well. So that's something I think to look at. You know, icons, what is their price change going to be? You know, when is going to be the time to pick them up? Especially coming into this weekend, with all the uncertainty around Team of the Year and everyone being terrified of it. It's over Mars, man. I completed the SBC for 300k. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Gee whiz. So this high-end market, I'm probably going to not look to just buy one huge player. I'm probably going to invest in lots of players for around 200 to 400k. By lots, that means like 3. But I think the biggest and best investment is going to be in icons. These guys right here, because we've seen them continuously dip in price. Obviously, we could see a rise if an icon SBC gets dropped today. I think that is very unlikely because we saw one last week. And with Halloween around the corner, the market would well and truly be in a frenzy if they did drop one. Burned us 300k. Interesting. So yeah, I don't think they're dropping one today. But I think it'll be well worth investing in these guys. So I'm going to invest probably a Schmeichel and quick flip. Also something to look at is, I don't know why I reset this one. I said it yesterday in yesterday's Market Watch. Left backs and right backs. Because we could see, like we did with the Del Piero, if they release a Roberto Carlos Prime SBC, that you need a left back to go in there, which is going to cause this petite card to go skyrocketing. Because currently, let's look at left back at petite. This card is currently what? 320. Imagine if they released a Roberto Carlos SBC where you need a left back. This card is going to be 500-600 during that hype period. So something else to look at, obviously, is the other side of the pitch, right backs. Zanetti, I don't think as good an investment because he doesn't have as much hype around him as Roberto Carlos would. But still a good investment. You know, which of course, you still have to remember centre backs. You know, if they release I don't know. Let me think of good examples. Rio Ferdinand, maybe one that's very hyped. But centre backs are already very, very highly priced. Like, look at this. Nesta for 440. So yeah. Left mids, very, very cheap because Overmars. Laudrup is actually dirt cheap. My gosh. But Overmars, of course, with his Prime SBC, he's seen his lowest priced card drop significantly. And I mean like significantly. Like, look at this. So there is less pressure on you in terms of that on the left hand side of the pitch. Like, look at that. That is so cheap. However, if we want to look at the right hand side of the is a JJ Kocher, which could lead to some troubles there. Is they release a right-sided player. Oops, something else sold. Probably another Bernardeschi. No, the Arnautovic flipped. There you go. Easy profit. Easy profit on that snipe. Not really a snipe. The slowest snipe you'll ever see. But still profit. So yeah, guys. That is also something that you need to be aware of. Flipping. Should I make a whole video on it? Maybe. I don't know. But flipping is very, very good. Especially early on in Team of the Weeks. And when Team of the Weeks first come out, all the way up to when Weekend League starts, flipping is very effective. Very, very effective. So yeah. That's pretty much everything I wanted to say. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Ooh, another Team of the Week 5 investment that I really like. Of course, I've already mentioned my big three. But this guy right here. Febra. This card as a super sub could be insane. And I reckon he's got to be very cheap as well. Because not many people are speaking about him, because everyone's been speaking about Alessandrini as a super sub, thus, you know, pushing his price up quite significantly. I'm not going to touch Alessandrini unless he goes under 20k, and then maybe. I still think that card is overpriced. Just because of, you know, like, yes, the stats are sick. You know, I'm not debating that. However, you know, you could get another player that's just as good as him. Like, whew, it's a good example. No. Like, he's sick as a midfielder. But like Fakir, this card is mad as well. 100k. Muble. No, not too amazing. But his price will come down. But what I'm trying to say is this card isn't going to be worth it for 30 to 40k. It's just not. There's going to be other cards that are very cheap. Like this guy, Piero. No. Okay, cool. He's got 13 less pace. But you look at attribute analysis. 67 strength. Piero, 83 strength. This is huge. You just chuck, say, a Hunter card on him. Or the Catalyst card. And this card is better than this card. Alessandrini, 93 pace. You're losing stat boosts if you use any kind of Hunter, Shadow, or Catalyst. You're losing stat boosts. So, actually, Piero is probably the better investment out of the two. 2-star, 3-star isn't great. 4-star, 4-star, maybe Alessandrini, but I still reckon this Piero is a better card. And it'll be cheaper as well. Like, look at that. Almost discard. I'll summon a card that I'm going to look at if he drops to discard, which I expect he will. I'll summon, of course, Syrian Ibra. Like, look at that. 87 stamina, 85 strength. 90 shot power. His long shots are insane, aren't they, as well? 81. So, got a downgraded long shot from last year's inform, which was, I think, was like an 85. But still, looks to be a decent card. These Frenchies, I'm probably going to pick up one Berry if he drops to discard. Currently a bit above discard, but I'll pick him up and keep him in the club. Because if there's, you know, whatchamacallit? Oh, train of thought. If there is a Dele Alli player of the month, these guys usually go up in the hype. And they usually go up a very decent amount in the hype as well. So that's also something you can look to flip and make decent coin on. Looks like another... Oh, no. No one sold, but looks like someone did sell. So let's see. Gabriel Jesus went for under 500k. So that to me says, you know, Monday night he's going to be at around 450. Next Thursday he's going to be at around 400, and then he's going to recover up to 500 the Monday after that, and then continue to rise from there. This Lionel Messi could be an interesting one, and looks like he's going for just over $1 million. Which, to be honest, it's very cheap, isn't it? Just over $1 million for Messi. Mad. This market right now, man, it's insane. It is insane. What else do I need to address? I've addressed the general market. I addressed Team of the Week 5 and what I think are good investments. So yeah, quickly recapping on that. What do I think is going to be good investments? Jesus, Sterling, Fakir, Fabra, De Gea will be decent. I like Zaha, depending on how much he drops. Same with Usbus. I like Usbus, but if he's going for 50k, no way. No way. Same with Berry. I like Berry, but he has to be discarded for me. Zaha, what do I need him to drop to? I'm going to say around 80. Like, that is too expensive right now, man. Way too expensive. Doesn't even have 5-star skills anymore. So, yeah, that's my take on this Team of the Week. I think the worst investments that people are going to go for is this Thiago. He always gets lots of informs, and to be honest, not many people play with him on the weekend league, so... And, like, his stats aren't even that great, are they? They're really not. Same with this Icardi. Typically gets lots of informs. Stats aren't that great. Like, he's only got 80 pace. You know, not that big or strong. It's just a very meh card, isn't it? Mobley, I think, could be decent, but I don't think there is enough hype around him because there are so many options in the Serie A in terms of the striker slot. That's why I don't think we're going to see much room on them at all. Because, you know, if there are heaps of options, that's going to keep prices down. Whereas this Jesus, he's the one card that everyone is using and everyone wants to use. So that means his price will stay up. Sterling, in terms of the right, Salah will be competing with him on the right hand side in the BPL. So hopefully that means both Sterling and Salah drop down a bit. Because I'm interested in investing in that Salah, depending on how his price goes. Looks like my Bernadeschi sold. Sweet. I'm up to 1.4 mil. Brilliant. So let's now look at that Salah, actually, guys. Oops. Special Salah. How is his price going? Mohamed Salah. Is he below 140k? He is. Oh my gosh. How low is he? It's one there for 130. That is nuts, guys. That is so gosh darn cheap. Maestro. I'd be putting a finisher on him. Sniper's a decent shout as well. This is a card that I may have to pick up, guys. But the real question is, how low do you think he's going to go? 130k for this card is nuts. I think I'm going to pick him up maybe tomorrow. Actually, rewards are out tonight, so I may pick him up during the rewards. Oh, I don't know. But that is just too cheap. Way too cheap. Let's look at chemistry style, because I know what I put on him. I put on a finisher card. to boost, yeah, shooting and physical. Maybe a dead eye, but still, that is just so cheap. How cheap is that hero Messi? Of course, guys, you have to keep in mind how many are on the market as well. So how many hero Messis are there on the market? Not many. This card is so cheap, guys. He's not getting another inform for ages. Why do I think he's so cheap? Probably because people are thinking Team of the Year. You know, price drop. Oh no. But Team of the Year won't be here. So I think, you know, this is still going to be the best Messi card for a while. What? How much is he going for? 1.5. He's recovered a bit. I could have sworn he was cheaper than this a couple of days ago. Let's look at this Messi, guys. Lionel Messi, hero, right wing. What has his price done the last few days? Continue to drop. Out of packs has continued to drop. Like, guys, this is I think this is what's happening now with these fluctuations. Honestly, we have seen it consistently happen now. Consistently. With most cards. They drop and they rise. I'm tempted to just make a whole video on this with the full breakdown of the stats, because this is something that's happening, and I think something you guys need to be aware of. You know, post Team of the Year, if it keeps on happening, it's just confirmed. And hey, I may be the first person to find it. First and best to find that. But guys, that is going to wrap up this episode of Market Watch. Not as much to watch out for tonight until, of course, the rewards drop tonight, which will see everything go either up or down. I think the high ends will go down a bit, but the lower end cards will rise. So I think anything that's over 500k will go down in price. Anything that's under 500k will go up in price. That's just my interpretation of what is going to happen. Well, guys, if you did enjoy the video, make sure you smash the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. Really, all support is appreciated. Follow me on Twitter as well if you want to stay up to date with any Want to Watch occurrences or my opinions and views or anything on foot that's happening right now, just to stay tuned. But guys, that wraps this up, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.